How to Know the Will of God by Dr. Chris Hudson. You can get these at Sword of the Lord. And of course you go to KingJamesBibleOnline.org if you want to see the verses. Romans 12:1 and 2. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And of course, if you go to these like fundamental churches, they can show you Bible verses about these liberals. I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I could care less about either doctrine, either ideology. I think they have good points and bad points. But anywho, they will show you in the Bible why these liberal Christian people who claim to be liberals and Christian are wrong. And of course, they are more convincing than the liberal Christians that try to prove their point. You know, the liberal Christians say, well, Jesus did help. He helped the poor and all this. Yeah, but they had to come to him and follow him. They didn't have to, but they did. Not to mention the fact that They love to mention, you know, for example, the Bible, you know, they all gave all their goods, sold it, and gave the money to everybody. No, they gave the money to their fellow Christians. Okay? And the Bible is pretty clear when Paul says, the man that does not work does not eat. Sorry. Just like the slave owners had more verses in the Bible to back themselves up than the non-slave owners, you know, it's the same type of thing. The Bible is pretty nasty if you actually read it. And Jesus was not a liberal. If you read the Bible, you can tell the guy was definitely not a liberal. He's a hellfire preacher of his time, basically. I'm not going to read his pastor crap. I remember a young preacher how I struggled with know the will of God. I had a desire to build a great soul-winning church. Well, I guess we will. But I asked, is this desire God-given desire, or is this my own personal? And then he's going, Dr. Paul Jones Jr. emphasized the importance of being in God's will when he answered a hyper-Calvinist. If it's God's will for me to go to hell, I don't want to go to heaven. I'd rather go to hell in God's will than heaven out of God's will. What an idiot. Realizing that God has a very definite purpose in life, a will for your life. The first thing is trying to ascertain God's will is to realize that He has a very definite plan and purpose for every believer. The Christian's life is not like a piece of cotton blowing in the wind, being carried from one place to another with no definite purpose. But there's a course and a goal for every believer. You know, like, go on what I'm saying, and it goes on with this too, though. Like these Christians, liberal Christians, they're pro-abortion. Now, they can pick out the verse in the Bible, and I did a verse on that in Bible verses, where God supports abortion. And it does. They have that over the conservative Christians. That's one point for them, though. I just want to bring that up. You can read my Bible verses, you know, and I did that one, about how God does support abortion. And there are other videos on YouTube where you can see it. Once we realize this, the Christian life becomes most exciting and takes on new meaning. We must have a right attitude towards God's will. If any man will do His will, he shall know the doctrine. John 7:17. No one ever discovers God's will out of curiosity. Rather, we must commit ourselves unreservedly to do God's will, even before we know what it is. Often my wife asks, Curtis, will you do something for me? I never recall saying, yes, I will. I always ask, what is it? I never commit myself unless I know what it is. Of course, that's different than what this God thing. That's what He's going to tell you. There must be an absolute surrender to God. Romans 1. You know, I think we did that already. Even if you want to read it again, Romans 12:1, 2. Paul is saying, if you want to prove to yourself what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God, then present your body a living sacrifice. You know, basically, don't cuss and curse, don't drink, smoke, go to the beach, don't hang out with non-believers, and the Bible's pretty clear about that. That's where the conservative Christians have a point, several points, over the liberal Christians. For example, you really think that this Jesus character, if he was voting today, would vote for Obama? He wouldn't vote for Trump either. Of course, he wouldn't vote, period, but because let's face it, these politicians are scumbags. Do you really think a bunch of millionaires and billionaires really have your interests at stake? I mean, seriously. Being available means being accessible, having every area of our life open. Basically, willing to go anywhere. Doesn't matter where you go, Africa, Australia, South America, and all that stuff. You know, being available not only means being accessible and acceptable, but also means being adaptable. You know, you go everywhere. You know, you gotta do what you're supposed to do. Be willing to adapt to the culture and all this stuff. When in doubt, play it safe. Whatsoever is not of faith is sin, says Romans 14:23. And verse 5 says, let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. If it seems that God is leading along a certain route and yet there is some doubt, it's always safe to give God the benefit of the doubt. One Sunday morning, a couple was getting ready for Sunday school. The man yelled through the house, honey, is this shirt dirty? She yelled back, I don't know. What do you think? Well, it looks like it might be all right. His wife replied, if it's doubtful, it's dirty. I found it wise to have full assurance. That's right. I'm the slave and God's the master. They love that. Do you have peace about the matter? And let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Galatians 3:15. Do you have peace about it? When I purchased my second car. And, you know, I'm going to admit that some of this is kind of actually applicable even if you're not a Christian. I mean, seriously, if you don't know if you can afford something, if you should buy something or go somewhere, it's probably best not to do it. And try to think, you know, allow yourself to cool off and think about it. And, of course, do you have peace? Can I afford this thing? Should I get this? Do I really, really need this? Do I have the money? Do I need to go there? Is this really going to be something I'm going to like? Is this person really going to be someone I want to date, you know? And if you're dating them, would I really want to spend the rest of my life with this person? If you have doubts and all this, you know, it's probably best to wait to get to know them better, you know? So I'll admit that, you know, some of these things are applicable. You just take out the God stuff. Walk in the light you already have. Never is there a time in the believer's life when we can see all of God's plan, because God, basically, you know, if you know other people that bought like a particular car, you know other people bought that particular car, you're not sure if you want to get it, if it's going to be a good car, but you know other people that have it, they told you that, you know, hey, the car is a pretty damn good car, and you know maybe, and you can afford the car, you know you can afford it, but you don't know. Well, now you know you need to get the car because everybody else you know has it, says it's a good car, and you of course go to the Blue Book thing and all these sites and you look it up and you see it's a good car. I always advise myself available to go. You know, let your desires help determine God's will. For it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do His good pleasure, says Philippians 2:13. I have had to make decisions concerning important matters when it seemed I didn't know what to do. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure what it was right. And again, you know, always try to seek advice from other people. You know, your spouse, the person you're dating, your parents, even your children if they're grown. Of course, and you know, relatives, friends, whatever. You know, it's always a good idea. You know, don't just jump into decisions. You don't want to do that. Of course, you can ask this God character, but you ain't gonna get anywhere. I might as well ask this balance. I asked this HPLC grade water. Holy Spirit is available to guide us. Romans 8:14. For as many as led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Many things are made plain to us from Scripture, so we need not ask God's will about them. God's will and God's word are always one, never contradicting one another. Go to the Bible Skeptic, his channel on YouTube. He'll go through it. He does a good job. Take the matters of the salvation of sinners. The Bible makes it plain in 2 Peter 3:9 that He is not willing that any perish, but that all should come to repentance. It doesn't seem that way. And that ends this. But you know, some of it you can say is applicable. You just got to change it. In, you know, some of the words. And I do recommend you go to the Sword of the Lord. They have some decent stuff you might want to read, you know. Some stuff is just funny as hell. If you have your own YouTube channels and you like, you know, making videos about these things and you're good. I suck at this. Let's face it. You can tell. But, you know, there's some good ones, especially, you know, Sheldon Smith does creation evolution, and, you know, he basically lies, and then you got I would consider lying, because you know you can disprove everything he's saying. And you got John Rice with his pamphlet on evolution, and then you got a DVD about evolution, dangerous deception. You got all those stuff. I mean, if you're good, you can, you know, do what you do. Bye.